Hope it works. Okay, all right. Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Please pick the appropriate greeting. My name is Kathleen Sinnott, and this is the BA Zone Live. This is actually the pre-show, so I'm going to get everything set up, but I will just be completely upfront with you. I'm not going to hide anything because there's no point. This is going to be a rough one because really Mare was supposed to do most of the presenting on this. Unfortunately, she can't be here tonight because she's lost her voice. You see, it's getting to be spring around here, and she won or lost the allergy battle that we've been having because I've been fighting them, she's been fighting them. And the reason I'm not sure she won or lost is because she's the first one who lost her voice. I am not far behind. I have been like holding on by my fingernails trying to keep my voice. But it's going to sound cracky. I'm going to sound like, maybe a 12-year-old boy because it's going to be cracky and scratchy, and I'm going to be drinking a lot this time, not just water. But sorry, I forgot to turn off my notifications. Let me do that. So I just need you to bear with me for a second here while I make sure that everything gets running and is live. I hope everybody is having a good one. As usual, all the comment systems are mostly functional, with our buddy over at Periscope being the slightly wonky one, but we'll try it. We should be okay. I've got, I started the tool. Is it going to run is the question. Let me try refreshing. This is how life goes, right? You just got to roll with the punches. You can't let it get to you. This is just how things are. All right, so it is still not coming up. So let me try refreshing the extension. I really look forward to the day when all of these services figure out how to do chat. You wouldn't think it's that complicated, but evidently it is because nobody's really doing it 100% correct. But that's okay too. We just roll with it. You folks over on Periscope, if you post a comment and I don't respond, go ahead and feel free to post it again. Don't be shy about that because sometimes that's what it takes for it to actually show up. I don't know why. Challenges, right? Okay, so I've got 2 minutes, so let me just run through them, just checking. So tonight, for those of you who are just joining, as is probably happening because we're just getting up to the top of the hour, we are going to talk about persuasion. What it is it good or bad, and some tips on how BAs can use it to help move the process along in the right direction. Because that's what we're shooting for, right? Okay, so it looks like we are getting everything rolling. So at least, if we're going to have a problem, this one doesn't seem to be the big one. Okay, so the only one that is still lagging behind is Facebook, which is okay. So we've got still a minute on Facebook. I have to adjust that. It always seems to be a little bit behind. Okay, I am going to put you on hold for, I'm going to mute you for a second because I need to cough, and I can imagine that nobody in the world really needs to hear that. So hang on one sec. Okay, yeah, there's going to be a lot of that tonight. And a lot of this too. You look forward to spring, you've had enough of winter. It's been cold, it's been snowy, it's been just miserable, gray, all the usual things. And I'm not a winter sports person. I don't ski or, toboggan or any of that stuff. Snowboard. No, if I tried to snowboard, I'd be at the hospital 10 minutes later. So really, other than it looking pretty, there's not a whole lot that winter offers me, except that usually my allergies are a little bit better. Now, I turned off notifications. Why are notifications coming through? Whatever. So, you look forward to spring, you get all excited about it, and then, it starts to come, and then you remember, oh, right, I can't breathe, I can't swallow, I'm losing my voice. Everything has good and bad, right? Including, amazingly enough, persuasion. See how that rolled in? All right, so let me just make sure we are, yes, we are. Okay, good. Excellent. This is, well, we like to see things go. And we'll do that so that I can see that chat, just in case. I also have the tool up, so hopefully, of course, I have so much stuff on my screen right now, I don't know where the tool went. Hang on a second, where did it go? Let me just open it up again. View. Okay. I have so many windows open right now, I'm going to be a little confused, but that's okay. I can be very entertaining when I'm confused, so I'm not going to let that throw me. Okay, so let's get this ball rolling while I still have a voice, right? Okay. Hi, my name is Kathleen Sinnott, and you are on the BA Zone Live. Tonight we're going to talk about psychology and offer some tips on how BAs can use it in their day-to-day work. So we're going to cover, what it is it good or bad, and some tips on how to do it. Those of you who are regular viewers, visitors here, you'll maybe have noticed that it's looking a little lonely here. It's just me tonight. Even the dog wouldn't come in and keep me company. So Mare was going to be here. Matter of fact, she was going to be the lead presenter on this one. Unfortunately, she has lost her voice. And while, watching somebody move their mouth without hearing them on live streaming can be slightly entertaining, it doesn't really help get our message across. So I am going to just jump in and try to plow through as best I can. I do ask for your patience with me because I'm now juggling all the balls again tonight, and that's a bit of a challenge. If you have any questions, comments, anything that you want to add to it, doesn't even have to be on this topic. We're pretty flexible here. We bring a topic, but if you want to talk about something else, that's cool too. Feel free to throw it in the comments. I have all of the systems up, so other than the usual, couple of seconds of lag, I should be able to see everything that you folks are posting. And you know what? Just to test that, let me just test that statement because that's how today's going. So I really shouldn't assume anything. Let me bring this up. This one. Nope, not that window. This one. Nope, not that one either. How many windows do I have open? Too many, clearly. Okay, seriously? I just had it here. Where did it go? Oh, yes, folks. It's going to be a fun one. If you like entertainment, this is going to be the show for you. All right, let me try. Oh, can I do it this way? I can. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to just try a quick hello world kind of comment, literally. And if everything is working, I should be able to see it in a second. Okay, so enough fumfering on my part. Let's just roll ahead. Okay, it is working. So yes, you can go ahead and comment and feel free. The other thing that we ask is that you like or follow us, depending on which system you're on. It's called something different. And if you know anybody who might enjoy this conversation, or just the way I'm fumfering around, go ahead, invite them to come and join along on the party. The more the merrier is our approach to this type of thing. You just got to roll with it. Okay, so if everybody is ready, and it looks like we are, we can dive in and start the party. Okay, where is my cursor need to be? Where is my screen controller? Here we go. Did I cover everything so far? Let me just check my list. Yes, we did. Okay. Oh boy, gonna be fun. Okay, so now I go here and I do that. So what, oh, let me get my picture out of the way here. Let's just do the desktop. There we go. Okay, so what is persuasion? Persuasion is the process of influencing a person or group's behaviors, attitudes, or beliefs towards an event, an idea, or other persons. And somehow we missed the comma in there. I apologize. That's going to bother me now. Okay, so let me bring this up. So in a nutshell, persuasion is just a way to help take somebody who might not be seeing things your way and kind of turning them around to the way that you're looking at them. There is basically, most people seem to have disagreed on the fact that there are 6 different principles or facets of it, which we'll run through here. Actually, I can bring that up. Okay. I guess that's not going to fit, so here, we'll take that off. So basically, yeah, most people are in agreement that there are 6 principles of persuasion. Some people call them facets. So real quick, it's reciprocation, commitment, or consistency, depending on who you talk to, social proof, likeness, scarcity, and authority. And so we're going to jump through all of these now. And here, we'll bring me back up. Hello again. All right, so reciprocity. That basically means that when somebody does you a favor, you feel compelled or obligated to return that favor in the future. So how does this apply in our world? Basically, it's the idea that if you can get somebody to agree to smaller points as you're building up to a bigger one that you're kind of anticipating might be a problem, each time that they agree with you or that you agree with them, it kind of starts to feed that meter a little bit, which will encourage them to go along with you, hopefully later on. The next one is commitment and consistency. Now this is a really interesting one. All of this stuff fascinates me because people are so fascinating. Like the way people think and act, the way our brains work, to me it's endlessly fascinating. I don't know if you agree or not, but it's just we will do things even though, and this is a perfect example of it, it may not be in our best interest. So consistency basically refers to when somebody has made a choice or taken a stance, they tend to act consistently to that commitment, to that statement or stand that they've taken, to the point of justifying or defending it. This is sounding so familiar for those of you who are watching politics, even if it's not in their own best interest. So let me say that again, because this is the kind of thing that when you see it or read it or somebody points it out to you, you go, well, that's crazy. But if you stop and think about it for a second, you know that it's 100% true, and you see it 1,000 times a day. So let me go through it again. Consistency, commitment refers to the fact that once somebody has made a choice or has taken a stance, they tend to act consistently according to that commitment or stance, to the point of justifying or defending it, even if it's not in their own best interests. And frankly, even if they've stopped believing it, sometimes they will continue to dig their heels in just because of that previous stance or commitment they've made. So what that boils down to is it's easier to get people to comply with your requests as long as you present them in a way that is consistent with things that they've already said or decided. Especially things that they have said or decided in your presence, which of course really helps because secondhand information can be a little dicey. But once you know how somebody sees something, the way that they talk about it, the stance they've taken, how strongly they feel about it, you can then start to adjust things in that light to increase the odds of them going along with it. So let's go to the next one. Social proof. Okay, so social proof refers to the idea that people will follow the lead of other people, basically, and that they want to be seen in that light. They want to be seen as part of the group. So this is the type of thing where anytime that the peer pressure kind of a thing kicks in and actually will support your point of view, that's a good time to start to use this type of thing, because people don't like to stand out from the crowd. They like to be a part of it. And so this is a chance for that opportunity. So in a nutshell, what this means is we use the actions of others to decide on proper behavior for ourselves. To really simplify it, if you think about, if you watch a lot of comedy on TV, and if you've ever wondered why there's a laugh track, the laugh track is there as social proof that this is the point where you're supposed to laugh. And if you watch other people in the room, 9 times out of 10, it works. Like I said, people, funny. All right, next is liking. Oops, sorry, I just switched to the wrong thing. So this principle refers to the fact that people prefer to comply with requests from people that they like more than the ones they don't like. I know, it's a shocker, right? People actually will do things for people they like and not for people they don't like. Who would have thunk? Well, this is just one of these facts. And this is why, persuasion is such a strong tool in your toolbox. Because when you think about these things, they are completely logical, and you know that you have seen them over and over again. So one way to use this in our world is, to find things that you have in common with somebody. Now, whether that is just, stuff based on the project or the decisions being made, but also things outside of that. This is where the, coffee talk pays off, or the conversation in an elevator, that kind of thing. So for example, if you find out that somebody likes to play golf, hey, you know what? Me too, love it. Or maybe because it's too obvious that I don't. Gee, I've always wondered about that game. Can you tell me more about it? And you start those kind of conversations. Do you like football? Do they like football? Or soccer, depending on where you are. So it's finding those common touch points that you can agree on, build on those, and that will then again start to swing maybe from neutral or not liking into the liking, which then becomes helpful when you're starting to have the conversations about requirements and making decisions. Scarcity. Okay, so scarcity is basically the principle that we value things that are not in abundance. So things that are hard to get, or, limited time only kind of things. So that's the kind of thing that scarcity plays into. So basically, people want more of what they have less of, or what they perceive, to be available, less out in general. So how do we use this in our world? This is where you would want to highlight things, benefits, features that are unique to the solution that you're presenting, that will make us stand out in the market, that will make us provide unique functionality to our user bases. That is also another version of scarcity, and that's the type of thing that plays in more into the BA world than something like, when you go to Amazon and it says that there's only, 2 in stock of the shirt that you like, so you better hurry up and order. That doesn't work so much unless you're doing an e-commerce solution. But if you're just doing, regular business solutions, it's more about highlighting those unique benefits and features that would play into the scarcity thing. And the last one is authority. So this one refers to the way that people tend to defer to other people that they see as experts. So in previous sessions, multiple times this has come up in our conversations about how it's important that as you are working on a project, you continually build on your own authority, that you keep, coming across, subtly. Don't walk into the room and stomp your feet and say, I'm the authority. That doesn't work. It's something that has to be layered on and on. Every time that you come up with a solution nobody else had, every time that you make a good point, every time that you handle a difficult situation, that all adds to your authority. And the more that you share that information, and don't hide it, don't be shy about it, don't be overly polite. This is something that you want to build up as a strength, because the more people see you as an authority, the easier it is to help get to the decisions that you want made, basically. So let me just make sure I got all those. Yes. So authority is people tend to be persuaded by authority figures. That is people who demonstrate knowledge, confidence, and credibility on a topic. That should be us. Every day, in every meeting, in every document and email you send out, that's what you want to be shooting for. Because every time you do that, you're just laying another layer on, which makes you be seen as an authority by more and more people across the enterprise, when you're dealing with customers, all that kind of good stuff. I've got to put us on mute here because I'm losing it. Okay, that just bought us a few more minutes. Told you, it's going to be a rough one tonight. All right, so does that sound familiar to you? Does that seem like the kind of thing that you're seeing in your world? I'm willing to bet it is. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, yeah, this is the kind of thing that you've seen before. And it's the kind of thing that, it just keeps coming up over and over again. And the more you're aware of it, the more you're going to see it. It's kind of like when you buy the new car, right? And you start driving around and you see it everywhere. It's the same kind of principle. These are things that people do naturally every single day. And it's part of how we interact with people on a regular basis. It's just nice to have people that have studied this and have broken it into these logical groupings, because it makes it a little easier to wrap our brains around it. Let me just go back here for a second. I'm going to just bring this back up. Whoops, go back. So just to go through it again, now that I've kind of given you the high level about them. So again, the 6 principles are reciprocity, social commitment and consistency, social proof, likeness, basically likability. That's really what I think it would be, but I took it right from the expert, which we'll get into in a minute. Scarcity and authority. So these are the things that you always want to be thinking about as you're preparing for your meetings, whether it's one-on-one or the larger group, review sessions, that type of thing, and try to anticipate what's going to come up, and try to look for the places where you can use one of these tools to kind of help boost your point of view, your solution a little bit farther. Now, of course, you're not going to win every single one just based on this. But it is the kind of thing where if you are prepared and you're thinking about it and you have kind of worked through in your head beforehand how you're going to handle it and which one of these things you're going to use for the different situations that are going to come up, it just greatly increases the odds of your success. Nothing's going to be 100%. You're not going to win every conversation. You're not going to win every battle. Sometimes your ideas are not going to be the ones that are selected, and that's just life. But you can increase the odds. You can give yourself a better chance of success by using these things. If you think about it, I seem to be on a sports theme tonight. I don't know why. Well, I guess because baseball season's starting. I'm very excited about baseball season. But that's how sports figures tend to prepare themselves, whether it's a solo sport or a team sport, in the locker room before they go out, to play the game. It's sort of that, visualizing success thing, but it's not just, gee, I'm going to be successful. They really stop and think about, okay, well, what's possible going to happen? What's the strengths of my opponent or the opposing team? How can I increase my chances of success, when this person comes to the plate or this pitcher is throwing this pitch? And they kind of just visually go through it all in their head before the game many, many times sometimes to just help prepare themselves. So that way, when they go out to play, the solutions and their approach and the steps they're going to take are second nature because they're already in the brain. They've already got it all figured out. They're not having to stop and go, oh, wait, what do I have to do here? It's just naturally flowing because they've spent that time preparing. And it's the same thing for us. When we go in and we go into our one-on-ones or we go into our review meetings, we have to treat that like game time. We got to put our game face on. We've got to have done the preparation before. And it's not enough to just be good at our job and to have the right answers. We have to do this piece of it too in order to, again, increase the odds of success for our project and our solutions and basically the whole team, the whole company. This pays off for everybody down the road. So if anybody has any favorites of their own, I would love to hear from you. But basically that is what we are talking about here. So now I'm going to move on to, okay, good. I already did that. So let me just flip ahead. Sorry for the clicking. Oh, okay. All right, so now we're going to take this to the next level. As I'm talking about this, in my head, I'm going, okay, this all sounds kind of negative. And maybe to a certain degree, it might be. I'm sorry, I just want to check. This might be Mare. If she's got something that she wants to add by text, I just want to make sure I get that for her. Just give me one sec. Is this her? Come on. I told you, right? I got this new phone that I didn't want. That's what I'm dealing with here. Really? Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Give me what I want. Okay. Oh, no. Okay. Sorry, it wasn't Mare. It's my mother. We just remind her that it's show day. Oh, my goodness. That's because the holiday's coming up. I've had a lot of extra phone calls and text messages and all that good stuff. Okay, sorry about that. I just didn't want to miss it if it was Mare. All right, so I'm going to put you on hold again because I am losing my voice. Okay, so again, this always raises the question, is persuasion good or bad? Persuasion tends to get a bad rap because a lot of people have learned to use it very well for bad reasons. The stereotypical example, of course, is the bad used car salesperson who is trying to just sell any lemon that they can to anybody who walks in. And they have worked all of these principles down to the point where they're automatic and they are very successful, but for a bad reason. And there are other examples too. I mean, there are, the reality of anything in this universe is somebody's going to figure out how to use it for good and somebody's going to figure out how to use it for bad. And that's just how life is. So no, persuasion in and of itself is not bad. It can be used for bad, but of course that's not what we're talking about here because that is never our goal. Our goal is that we are trying to help everybody do better, move forward with their careers, to help businesses do better, with their goals and their profits and all that kind of stuff. So it's important to keep in mind, while this may feel a little dirty to you as, you're starting to think about it, just remember that any tool is as good or bad as the person who is using it. So as long as you are trying to use it to get what you believe is the best solution across, if you're trying to do things in the best way to help your company, then that's all good. You just need to remember that you're not going to win every battle. And as long as you keep those two things in mind, I think you can safely assume that it's okay to go ahead and use these principles. And to keep an eye out for people who might be using them against you for bad reasons, because that's going to happen too. That's just life. So no, in and of itself, it's not good or bad. So let me give you an example that I heard it or read it in a seminar someplace. Actually, I might have read this one. So the story is that somebody was, working really hard, everything, and decided, okay, they were going to treat themselves and winter, so they were going to go skiing. Now, this is a person that doesn't ski a lot. They enjoy it, but it's not, they don't do it enough that they have all their own gear because it's expensive. So they went to their favorite resort and they were all set to go out and skiing, and their friends were already out, buying the lift tickets. And so this person went in and was going to rent equipment. So they're talking to the rental person, the person's, measuring them and sizing it up to get the right, size skis and all that kind of stuff. They get the right boots and all that. It's way more, if you've never gone, it's way more complicated than it sounds. I worked at a ski lodge, and so it's like, I learned a lot there because I thought you just slapped the skis on and went down the mountain. It's not like sledding. It's way more complicated. So they went in and they did it. And like I said, they've done this before. They just don't have their own gear, which is why they were renting. And so the person who was renting the gear was getting them ready and everything, and then said, okay, what kind of helmet do you want? And the person said, oh, no, I don't wear a helmet. I'm fine. I don't need it. So the person went on and said, yeah, I really, are you sure you don't want a helmet? This is the kind of thing that we usually rent out with the rest of the gear. We have a wide variety. Person's like, no. So the person, continued the process and then said, well, it really is a lot safer if you, wear your helmet when you're skiing. I'm concerned about your safety here. And the person who was doing the renting was like, no, I told you, I don't want it. I don't like them. I'm not going to use it. So the person kept going. And then just as they were wrapping up the transaction, they said to them, well, would you mind telling me, just so I understand when other people say this, why don't you want to wear the helmet when you go skiing? And the person's like, well, I feel, I get cold real quick and I like my hat. It keeps me warm. So I don't really want the helmet. I don't want to deal with it. And so the person who was renting it goes, okay, totally understand that. That's totally valid. I said, but you do understand that we've got some really nice, warm, lightweight helmets that will actually be much warmer than that hat that you're wearing. Long story short, the person rented the helmet. And the reason they told this story was because it was an example of persuasion techniques without it being a hard sell. The person never told them, that they were an idiot or they absolutely had to. They never banged their fists on the desk. They made it a conversation. And they tried to anticipate what maybe some of the reasons were. They tried to sell on the safety angle. But at the end, it was clear that the person who was renting the equipment was not interested. And so they asked them, one human being to another, I'm just really curious why. And then based on that information was able to give back information that made the person make the right choice because they really were concerned about their safety and all that good stuff. So it's an example of how you can use persuasion techniques in a good way, because I know that there's a lot of negative out there. And I just want to make sure that you understand that this is not a bad thing. If you learn these techniques and you employ them for good purposes, it can have a very good outcome. Okay? Alrighty. So, just want to take a quick break here, and actually, maybe I'll bring this back up again for people who are just joining. I see there's a lot of people jumping in now. So, for those of you who are just joining now, we are talking about the 6 principles of persuasion and how you can use them as a business analyst in your day-to-day work and basically life. So, those 6 principles are reciprocation, commitment and consistency, social proof, likeness or likability, scarcity, and authority. And basically what these come down to are just normal human interaction points. So reciprocity is if somebody does a favor for you, you feel compelled or obligated to return that favor in the future. It also puts them in a better light for you too. So reciprocity actually covers also likability and social proof. Consistency, when somebody has made a choice or taken a stance, they tend to act consistently according to that commitment to the point of justifying or defending it, even if it's not really in their own best interests. So it's easier to get people to comply with your requests if you can put them in the light of statements or stands that they've taken before, so that you are reinforcing something that you know that they already believe strongly about. Social proof is the fact that we tend to use the actions of others to decide proper behavior for ourselves. So kind of think like laugh tracks, letting you know when you're supposed to laugh in a movie or on a TV show. Liking or likability is the simplest of all. People tend to want to work and agree with people that they already like. And if they don't like people, they tend to disagree and not want to work with them. That's just human nature. But that is something that you can build off of. You can find common points. You can make commitments with them outside of the project. And then that will help to move you from maybe neutral or negative into the positive side of the scale. Authority. People tend to be persuaded by authority figures. That is, people who demonstrate what we do. Confidence, knowledge, credibility on the topic. I think that speaks for itself, basically. Scarcity is about the fact that people want something that they feel is in limited availability to everyone else. In our city, so this is shopping is usually the example for this. Like if you go online or if you're going into a car shop or someplace else, you can say, oh, limited quantity. If you want this, you better move on it now because, we only have 2 in stock or whatever. That's not necessarily going to apply to us, but for us, it might be things like, showing how this solution or this feature or this new function makes us unique or provides unique functionality for our user, makes us stand out from the competition. That's the type of thing that scarcity would apply for us. And, I'm sorry, I jumped around. I already did authority. Sorry for being out of order. I told you it was going to be a little off tonight. And I didn't lie, right? It's been a little off, but we're still getting through it. We're having a good time. Okay, so let me continue along here. All right, so then we also talked about, again, because I'm seeing a lot of people are jumping in now, the other thing we talked about is whether or not persuasion is good or bad, and you can go back and watch my whole explanation in my example, but basically it's as good or bad as you use it. So if you want to use it for good, then that's how it's going to come across, and if you use it for bad, well, then I'm not sure why you're here, because that's not how we do things here. We do things from a good point of view. Okay, so we talked about what persuasion is. We talked about the different principles or facets of it. So what are some things that you can do to be more persuasive? So we're going to run through some basic tips and tricks kind of thing that people have shared over time and in some sessions I've taken to help you come across as being more persuasive. So persuasive people, first and foremost, know their audience. They know who they're going to be talking to. They know enough about them that they're going to be able to anticipate their response to a lot of things. Yeah, you're not going to be 100%, but probably 80 or 90% of the time you'll guess it right. You're going to know who you need to be a little bit more aggressive, more outspoken with. Aggressive is sort of a negative term too. Who you're going to want to maybe go funny with, who you're going to maybe want to, be a little bit more subdued with, who is going to get it quickly, who is going to need a little more time, and then adjusting your message to each one of those different personality types. That is key to success in any situation. Successful, persuasive people like to connect with other people, whether that's one-on-one or in a group. But again, they use that as a way to learn about other people. And it's coming from a genuine place. They actually like to do this. And just to take a step back here, if you are an introvert, okay, this may kind of be, oh God, I don't want to do this. It doesn't have to be in a group. If you're an introvert, that doesn't mean you don't like people. It just means that you don't like groups generally. So if you're not comfortable doing this kind of interaction, in the bar, or playing basketball after work or whatever, then you can do it one-on-one. You can build those relationships. You can find those common touch points one-on-one that way. And that's all this is talking about. This is one of my favorites because it's usually the opposite of what people expect. Persuasive people are not pushy. Seriously. So if somebody is coming across as pushy, aggressive, assertive, overly assertive, pushy, basically. First of all, that's a turnoff, so that's not a persuasive approach, but usually it also comes from a point of fear. So make sure that you are not giving that across. You want to make sure that you are being confident and calm and well-reasoned, that you are not coming across like, a freight train or, threatening, if you don't do my way, blah, blah, blah. That's not the way to do it. Same token, you don't want to go too far the other way. You don't want to be mousy. You don't want to be, whispering quietly in the corner so nobody can hear you. That's not going to work either. Again, it's about, confident. It's about being the authority on the topic and presenting yourself as such and not apologizing for that. You have no reason to apologize for knowing your stuff. That's something to be proud of. Again, not pushy, not mousy, but, right up the middle. You want to go up the middle. Persuasive people use and watch body language, which we've talked about in a previous session too. So it's just something, again, to be, don't be sitting there, all hunched back like this. Don't be talking off to the wall when the people are in front of you. Don't be too much in their face, but also watch what they're doing. Are they wandering off and doodling? Are they rolling their eyes? Are they smirking to somebody across the room? Pay attention to these things and don't call them out on it, but in your head go, okay, there's something I have to deal with here, and quickly try to get in there and figure it out. And if you've done what I talked about earlier, preparing for the game, going mentally through all the scenarios and all the things that could happen and how you're going to react to them, you should be able to switch into that solution very quickly because you've already concerted it and you've already come up with your plan. Persuasive people are clear and concise. They don't beat around the bush. They don't wander. They get to it very clearly. They talk in a language that the audience will understand, and that may be different when you're talking to business or technical or clients. They're able to adjust their message to the right audience, and if you have a mixed audience, they're able to smoothly and seamlessly make sure that they get the right information to the right people in the right language, even if you're saying the same thing 3 times because of the different people in the room. There's ways to do that where it doesn't come across like, okay, I'm going to explain it to you, I'm going to explain it to you, and I'm going to explain it to you. There's a way to say, okay, so let's this next thing, which, but also means this, and just kind of work it into the overall flow. They come across and are usually very genuine. They feel passionate about the information that they're providing, the solution that they're providing, and they're genuine about the fact that they want everybody to agree and to understand the value of it, and that they'll take the time to explain it to everybody because they honestly want everybody on the same page. Persuasive people will acknowledge alternate points of view. They are not arrogant. They know that there's other ways to look at things, and in some situations, there may be a very fine line between one side and the other. And so they acknowledge that, they listen, they respond to it, they make sure everybody gets heard. Persuasive people, this is another good one. People think that being persuasive means talking. Okay, and aside to acknowledging other points of view, they ask good questions. So when somebody is offering a different point of view, they ask good follow-up questions. They dig deeper because maybe there is something here that hasn't been considered before, and maybe there's new information coming in that hadn't been provided. So they ask good questions, they ask good follow-ups. They don't just do it to make it look good. They're actually looking for that information, for that value, so that everybody gets it. And they will keep following that train of thought to the logical conclusion. They won't just beat it to death, but they will dig enough to make sure that they understand what's being said and why and how it might fit into the solution. Persuasive people paint a picture. People like stories, and they retain information, and their comprehension increases when you couch it in a story. So persuasive people tend to use stories a lot as they're going through their processes. They generally leave a strong first impression, which, of course, everybody knows you get one chance to make that good first impression. So you do want to make sure that you're doing that every time you're meeting new people, or if you're re-engaging with people that maybe you haven't seen in a while, that you can treat that like a first impression time. They also, persuasive people know when to step back. They know when they've entered into a dangerous territory, or when something maybe has not gone exactly the way they've thought to, and they know when to step back, when to tread lightly, and then how to work through that to get back on track. And I think that basically covers it. Well, okay, so there's a couple others here. They greet people by name. They're pleasers. That makes it sound like you're just going to roll over. That's not persuasive to me. I think what they mean by this more is that they try to keep it a pleasant interaction. It's not so much about pleasing other people as it is making everybody feel included, making everybody feel comfortable, even when there's disagreements going on. I think that's way more important. And they smile and they mirror people, and that gets into the body language thing again. Just like, the likability thing, part of that likability thing really is if people feel comfortable and if they feel like you're a nice person and that you're fun to be around, and even, in boring meetings, you bring something to it that keeps it interesting. That's all going to help. So, basically, I think, let me just go through my notes here because I think I've covered it. Hey, go me. I've made it and I've got most of my voice still. I'm going to take that as a win. All right. So that is what we have for you this evening. I'm going to just bring this up again one more time for the folks who are just joining, or maybe you're catching this on the replay or catching the end of this, which tends to happen too. So we have been talking about the 6 principles of persuasion and how you can use them as a BA to help further your cause in a positive way, which will also help your project and your company. If you are just joining us, you can watch the replay and get caught up on all this. This is okay. Yeah, so this is one of these techniques that is something that you can use not only at work but in your everyday life. And contrary to popular belief, it doesn't have to be a negative thing. It can be a very, very positive thing as long as you use it that way. Good tool, good intentions, good outcome. So I hope that if you are finding this content useful, handy, interesting, entertaining, whatever category it falls into, that you will like and or follow us, that you will tell other people, share the information about these. We are here every Tuesday, with or without a voice. One of us always makes it. Every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Just as a heads up, we're kind of toying maybe with the idea of bumping this up an hour. So if you have strong feelings about that, please let us know. You can do that by visiting us in all of the usual locations. You can find us on Twitter, on Instagram, on Periscope, on Facebook, on YouTube. We have our own website, which is thebazone.com, where you can also catch these. If you go to thebazone.com/watch, you can catch us all there. See, I haven't been doing all of our lower thirds and stuff because it's very hard to present, run the board, do all this side of stuff when you're a solo act. I haven't done it in a couple weeks by myself, and so I've forgotten. But yes, you can also catch us, on the website. If you have questions, comments, ideas for shows, if you just have something that you need help with, you can go to either tweet at us or DM us on Twitter, or go to the website. There's a contact form, or you can go on Facebook and send us a message there. However you want to get in touch with us, we're here to help you. So if you have any question, comment, problem, and you want information from us, please don't hesitate. We've had a few people reach out, and those have been, I think, very good experiences for everybody all around. So please don't be shy, don't hesitate. If it's something that you would like us to ask the group at large and get some feedback that way, you can feel free to do that. If you don't want us to mention your name, that's okay. Just let us know. But please don't be shy. And if you would like to stay up to date on what we're doing and what's coming, because we have some big things coming in the next couple of months, you can join our mailing list. Now, you don't have to worry. We don't sell the list. We're not Facebook. Sorry. I shouldn't have done that. But we're not doing this to sell your information to anybody else. We believe in karma. We're not going there. But you can sign up for the mailing list, and that way you will get all of the up-to-date information. You'll be the first to know about new stuff that's coming out. And for signing up, we send you a freebie, which I think right now is the survey tips. So we've got that. And I think that pretty much covers it. I'm just going to do a quick check and make sure I didn't miss any questions or comments. I think I got everything. I kind of worked it into as I was going. And I think we are good. Where did Facebook go and hide? Sorry, Facebook. Where'd you go? Seriously? Okay, yes, there you are. Okay, so we're good. We are all covered. Excellent. That's what we like to see. We love it when a plan comes together, and that is where we're at. Oh, I know. There was one more thing I wanted to show you. Sorry, one more thing. I feel like Steve Jobs. Let me bring this up. If you are interested in learning a whole lot more about this than we can cover in our usual half-hour show, let me point you in this direction. Oops, let me take my thing off here. So this has become sort of the de facto go point resource, the de facto resource, that's the word I was looking for, on this topic. So if you are interested in learning a lot more, you can go and check this out. We have no connection to them. We get no money. This is not a paid ad. This is just a book that I have started sharing with a lot of people as we've been having conversations about this in our own life here. And it's a nice, concise, I forget how many pages it is, and somebody just asked me that, so let me check while I'm here. 336 pages, but it's an easy read. It's not, don't let that throw you, it's not an overwhelming read. But this book, Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion, and I'm not going to even pronounce his name because I'm sure I'll say it wrong, but it is a great resource if you are looking to learn more about this topic and how to best make it work for you in your life. Okay? All right, so I think as my voice is going here, I'm going to bid you farewell. Oh, there was one more thing. I'm sorry, there's one more thing. Oh, right, okay. So like I said, we're here every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and we are on Daylight Savings Time now. So next week, we're going to be talking about what does a business analyst do who's working in healthcare. So what does a healthcare business analyst do? So I hope you will join us for that. There's a lot to cover on that topic. It may go more than one show, but we'll see. We'll try to get it into the 30 minutes. Other than that, I hope you're having a lovely day, evening, or afternoon, wherever you are, and that you will come join us again soon. Thanks so much. Have a good one.